Hello. My name is Tamathy, and I grew up in a small town in Missouri, and I'm the oldest of 21 children. There were 12 girls, 9 boys, no twins, and same parents. So eventually, when there were about 18 or so kids, and I was probably 19, then I went away to college. And while I was gone, my mom had another baby, so I came back to help out for a while. And this happened a couple of times, actually. I'd go away to college and she'd have another baby and I'd come back for a while. But the first time I went away and I came back, I was interested to see that any space that I had been taking up while I had been living there all those years had been quickly absorbed by the family, and so there was no place for me to be. There was a room that was half finished. Our house was always being added onto, forever. It burned down before they ever finished, but it was always being added onto, and there was an upstairs room that was not finished. It had a floor and it had a roof. It didn't have siding on the outside or insulation on the inside, or walls really, but it had all the materials to do that were in the room on the floor that was finished. So I moved into that room, and I put a mattress on the sheetrock, the pile of sheetrock, and I moved in. And it was really cozy. It was up and I could see the trees outside. It was kind of like a tree house. I was a little nervous because I was there when we first put that room up, and it was me and about 5 of my siblings who raised those walls and held them in place while my dad hammered really quickly. And we were all holding them, and my brother let go really quick, and the whole wall started coming down because he got a splinter. So I was a little nervous that maybe these walls weren't sturdy and maybe not up to spec, but they seemed to hold up. So I moved in, and during the day I would help with my siblings and do all the stuff that we did, and at night I would work on this room and start putting in insulation and things like that. Before that, it was nice. I could wake up in the morning on my pile of sheetrock and look out through the cracks in the wall and see what the weather was going to be like that day. I knew if it was windy, of course, because the whole room was shaking and making me very nervous. But eventually, I got all the insulation up, and I got sheetrock up, and my dad got siding on the outside of the house. It was incredible. The neighbors were really impressed. People drove out from town to see that. But then I started decorating this room, and all I really had to do for that was to walk around our yard and through the garage and find things. This is something I really missed when I left home and I didn't live with hoarders anymore, because I was like, where's all the stuff? We have to go buy stuff? You can't, where's the basement or garage or yard or shed or barn where you just walk around and find cool stuff and drag it up to your room? And that's what I did. I walked around and I found things. I found things from my grandpa's house. I found old iron beds. Old iron bed I drug up there. And antique dressers and paintings and all kinds of things. And I made this room the best room I've ever had in my life. I loved this room, this huge antique bed, and I went and I scavenged all the best pillows in the house. I was feeding these people, and they would sleep on anything. They were kids. Their heads were soft still. They didn't need pillows. So I got all the best pillows. I found the best comforters, and my sister moved in with me. She had to help put up some of the sheetrock, but she moved in. And we had this beautiful room, this magical room, with all these things that had belonged to my great-grandparents and my grandparents in it. We had my grandma's huge fur coats that we slept with at night. Luxurious. We felt rich, which was great because in the winter there was no heat. There was no electricity. But it was so beautiful at night when we laid there and in our fur coats and we could see our breath and see these little shimmers of snow coming down from the roof that wasn't finished. It was beautiful. And we kept soda bottles full of water at the end of the bed, hot water, so that they should warm up the bed when we put our feet in. And in the morning, they would be hard as a rock because they were frozen, so we'd kick those out and snuggle into our fur coats. The best room ever. Then we moved, and eventually the house burnt down. But to me, that room is still there. I love that room, and I go to it in my dreams. I hope you've all had a room like that, or that you do.